Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about that card we saw yesterday, Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor. We'll talk about all the fights that were on there, just sort of summaries, not going to go too in depth on it. We're going to talk about Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor and their legacy that they've left behind. We're going to talk about the fight and we'll start there. Let's be honest, the fight was very disappointing. It wasn't much of a fight. Honestly, it was a lot of just nothing. It was a disappointing way to end what could have been one of the greatest trilogies ever. If they had left it at two fights, we're talking about two of the greatest fights ever. Adding the third, it's like a trilogy of movies where the first two are really really good and the third one's a bit shit. And it was shit. Look, I'm a big fan of what they did, and that night last night was special for so many reasons. And women's boxing has been elevated a heap. I mean, we got to give props to Jake Paul for putting that on. He's not everyone's favorite. I don't rate him at all with his boxing, but this sort of night, you've got to respect him for. All those women got paid things that they never would have in history been paid in a performance, in a night, in an event. All women card. Great, 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 great. Love it. Just a shame this fight didn't live up to the first two. The first two was special. I mean, we're talking about two fights that were basically, one was definitely fight of the year. I can't remember if the other one did or not, but either way, the first two special, special performances. This one probably disappointed because it wasn't fought in the style that the first two were. This was more of a, they were trying to technically box rather than the first two. They both sort of ended in brawls, and it was big punches and just trading blows. I think Amanda Serrano is going to be disappointed in this performance, and to be honest, we're going to look at back in history in this fight, and everyone's going to see 3-0. This wasn't 3-0. Let's be honest, this wasn't 3-0. This was 2-1. This was 2-1, and this was 2-1 that was so razor close. The scorecards for this fight were 97-93 Taylor, 95-95 draw, 97-93 Taylor. I think that's fair. I think it was Taylor won that fight last night. I was disappointed in Serrano. She threw a lot of punches that did not land. Taylor didn't do much activity, but everything she did landed. Even when she was backed up against the rope, she was able to just counter and get out of the pocket and land the bigger shots. So I think Katie Taylor, I mean, her and Clarissa Shields, they're going to have to sort that out for themselves. But which one's the best fighter ever? Which one is the GOAT? Honest, I know Clarissa Shields calls herself that, but some of the stuff Katie Taylor's done in her career is special, just as special as Clarissa Shields. To be honest, Clarissa Shields was the one that was missing off that card yesterday, which was a bit disappointing. But at the same time, there's no one, I think. Who do we put her against? Who does she fight that'll make it a special, special card where you're not just looking and say, you know what, Clarissa Shields, that's a hard fight. I mean, the answer would have been probably Savannah Marshall, but we're going to get to her. So let's talk about the card. Serrano, Taylor, disappointing fight, great trilogy, probably a great two fights, the third one. It ends off the trilogy in a way that we probably didn't want. Those first two fights are special though, and these two made this card possible. Don't get that wrong. If those two didn't put those two fights on, we would never have got that card of a full women's Madison Square Garden, because everybody was there. No disrespect to the lower fighters. There was people there supporting the lower fighters, but that night was Serrano Taylor 3. Right? And it was special because it was all women and world record for the most amount of title fights. So Alicia Baumgardner versus Jennifer Miranda. That was the co-main. Baumgardner wins against Miranda. Just let me get the scorecards up. It was Baumgardner 98-92, 98-92, 97-93. I think that's fair. Baumgardner fought the fight that I didn't expect her to. Probably got drawn into a fight that she wasn't sort of comfortable with. Lost a few earlier rounds, but came on strong at the end. Landed the bigger punches, landed the cleaner punches, and she deserves that win. Retains her titles. Next on the card, we had Savannah Marshall. She loses a split decision to Shadecia Green. Yeah, I thought Green won that fight. A bit disappointing from Savannah Marshall. I think we saw a fighter that had been away from the sport for a while, and I think we saw a fighter that was a bit too small. Shadisia Green was just too big for her. To be honest, she was just too big, too powerful, and I think she deserves that win. It's a big win for Shadisia Green. Unanimous decision victory for Ellie Scottney. She beats Yamalith Mercado. Yeah, another great performance by Ellie Scottney. I've said for a while that I want to see Ellie Scottney take on Sky Nicholson. And I know Sky Nicholson's new to that division, but let's say it. Let's just say it. Um, this one's a big one, for especially for you Aussie watchers. Shanika Johnson, she becomes Australia's first ever undisputed world champion. IBF, WBC, WBO World Bantamweight Champion with an upset victory against Sharetta Metcalf. Now, if you remember, Janika Johnson wasn't even supposed to be on this card. She got called in, I want to say, 4 weeks. She was the last person on the card to be added. She comes in, gets a big, big win, and honestly, I couldn't be more happy for her. Amazing fighter, and brings all those belts back to Australia. Chantel Cameron, she beats Jessica Kamara by unanimous decision. Ramla Ali wins unanimous decision over Leela Furtado. And Tam Teobot beats Mary Casamasa by TKO. Performance of the night, Shanika Johnson, no doubt about that. I think Shadisia Green probably level because it was a big upset and she did perform very, very well. But overall, just a great night for boxing, no matter the gender. It was a great, great night of boxing. Tied up with today's day of boxing. New York was treated to two big, big world-class boxing events. And the sport is in a wonderful, wonderful place. Now, leave in the comments your thoughts below, what you thought of those fights. How do you think that event's going to go down in history? Were you disappointed in that fight? Do you think that the first two fights would have been better just to leave it there? Should it be 2-1 Taylor Serrano? That'll be forever the talking point. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'm out here, guys. Like, subscribe, and see you.